Greetings from Scouse Farm on this beautiful Saturday. It's Grand National Day. Ladies' Day was yesterday and the actual Grand National is today, and we're in Calderstones Park, and I'm here today to show you the oldest, or what has been listed as the oldest oak tree in northwest England. And it's not the one you're looking at now, but I'm just teasing you into it. So I'll spin you around and show you this tree. Now when I researched this, I knew about it because my cousin told me it was here. Janet told me that it was in Calderstones Park, because I have previously been in here to film the Calderstones themselves, which are in the mansion house area. But this is not just a tree, it's got a lot of history attached to it. And although there are sayings that it's over 1,000 years old, there's a sign next to the tree, which is what you can see there behind the railings, that says it's about 500 to 550 years old. So I don't know which it is, but that sign is more recent than the research I've done. So maybe it isn't 1,000, maybe it's only 500, I don't know. But it's certainly an old tree and it has a lot of character. And it's a sessile Irish oak tree. And other than its little baby, there's only one of them in the park. So this is the Irish oak you can see in the background. And it's reported to have also been the setting for a medieval 100 court, which is an old form of justice which maintained the frank pledge system. And without going into too much detail, because it's very complex legal jargon, all it was the frank pledge system. You had specific responsibilities attached to certain individuals who had responsibilities for certain things within a manor, a geographical area, and if they fell short, there were legal consequences. And because they were freemen, they didn't have to sit in a court of the lord of the manor. So if you and I or anyone was making a crime or doing something wrong, you go up in front of the lord of the manor back in the day. But if you were a freeman, you would go under the 100 court, the medieval court, and that is where 12 freemen would sit and try your case and listen to your case. And it was supposedly under here, not when the railings were here like, but it was supposedly under this beautiful tree. And again, some people think the medieval court was outside near the burial tomb of the Calderstones, but the research says that this tree is remembered for being the setting of the 100 courts. And now we're out as the sun, you can see it's been supported by the metal structures there, and a lot of that is down to something else historical that happened to this tree. So I'll continue to talk about the history and then we'll get close up. I'll do some zooming in so you can see a bit more of the tree itself. But that the reason, or part of the reason for that support, is that in 1864 the merchant ship Lotte Sleigh exploded on the River Mersey, which is over 3 miles away from here, and it was carrying 11 tons of gunpowder, and the detonation blew out the windows of many houses, but also the mansion house here in Calderstones Park, and it cracked the trunk. So there's a big split down the trunk that you're going to see in a minute, and it's just madness that an explosion on the river over 3 miles away, it literally split this tree right down the trunk. And you can see some of the damage there from afar, but I will zoom in shortly when I finish talking about the life and times of the little, well, not little now, the life and times of this gorgeous tree. And the tree was donated by Henry and Charles McIlver, that's M-A-C-L-V-E-R, so I'm not sure if I've said it correctly, but they were the owners, and it was donated to the Liverpool Corporation and Calderstones in 1902. And during, this is my favourite part of the history, is during the Second World War, the soldiers who were overseas were sent acorns from this tree and also leaves as good luck tokens. So their family and friends would send them like old school parcels with all little bits of like tins of food and whatever they could, but also they would send out some acorns from this tree if they lived in the area and some leaves. and that has led to a lot of the soldiers planting the acorns in all far-flung corners of the world. So this tree is literally a seed tree for many Irish oaks that are everywhere from, you know, because in the Second World War we were serving in, well, the British were serving in the South Pacific, North Africa, all over the Middle East, and obviously the mainland Europe. So many little acorns from this tree have been planted by soldiers. So I wonder how many little oaklings there are out there from this parent tree. And it's also got a younger tree in the park somewhere else. So in 2007 an acorn from this tree was planted, and it's in this park somewhere. I don't know where, but I will look for it. And it's called Allerton Oak the Younger, and they're the only two Irish oak trees in this park. So for all the tree spotters, I'm sure you'll see the Allerton Oak the Younger. As it gets bigger and bigger, you'll be able to notice that it's the kid of this here tree. And the last thing on the history I'll talk about is in 2009 this tree was put into the Tree of the Year competition in 2019, not 2009, and it won the English category with 34% of the 11,000 votes cast. So this was English Tree of the Year 2019. And also, I think there's over 100,000 acorns produced by this tree each year, which means if you did want to come up here and an acorn does get outside the railings, you'd be able to snaffle yourself a little piece of acorn and maybe plant it yourself somewhere. I don't know, but whenever they produce acorns, come and have a little look. And as I said before, the research said it's over 1,000 years old, but this sign, which I'll just hold the phone over, at the top it says it may be about 500 to 550 years of age, as you can see there, but I'm not too sure. We don't know. And remember I mentioned the ship that blew up, the Lottie Sleigh. There's a artist's impression of the event at the time. And it's, if you are in Calderstones Park, come and have a look at it, because it's got each ring with the suggested what was going on, significance at the time as the tree went through the years. So there's a lot of information of what historical things have happened while this tree has been in existence. Right, so now all that's out the way, let's have a closer look. And you can see where the split is in the trunk, and I'm not sure if, well, it would have been the start of it. You can see you could actually live in there. Now it's that wide. I'll zoom in, but this split is probably where the crack first started, when the Lottie Sleigh blew up on the Mersey in, what was it, 1864. I've only just told you, but I forgot already. The character in this thing. And there's a lot of support because the tree is protected, as you could imagine, being so significant in history. So those supports, I think there's money being raised to either replace them with something better or add to them, but it is in hand and the tree is protected, and having the railings around it means no one's going to go in, and or hopefully no one's going to go in and start climbing up and down on it, because this is something of history that needs to be protected. Absolutely. Look at the character in this thing. The birds certainly love it. There's a few birds flying in and out of the top of the tree, and you can see now it's starting to produce some leaves because all the buds are forming, and it won't be long before this will be in leaf. There's some buds there. But what an absolute treat on a sunny day like today. And there's so many fantastic, stunning old trees in Calderstones Park. So I'm walking around with my mate now. He's just over in the corner finding some sun. So get yourselves down to the park. Take advantage of this beautiful spring. But I'll give you a walk around the outside, the other side of the tree, and then I'll leave it there. But you look, got loads of daffodils there in the background. The joys of spring. Beautiful. Wow, look at the character in that. I'm seeing dragons. I'm seeing the bow of a ship, like one of those things they put on the front of the ship, like the goddess Hera or whatever. I'm seeing a ship there, and there's her head, there's one of her arms, there's her other arm, and she's looking back, keeping an eye on the captain, making sure he's not drinking too much rum. Or that might just be me. But what a beautiful tree, and what a lovely, lovely, beautiful Saturday for the Grand National. So if you are putting a couple of quid on a horse today, I wish you well. I've got a couple of bets on myself, my annual bet. So thank you all very much for watching. Have yourselves a great day. And Scouse Farm, near the oldest Irish oak tree in the northwest. We'll see you all again soon.